So I went over how you can make some money playing with pets, walking them, sitting them through Wag a while back, and now I am back with an update on Rover. Rover versus Wag, my personal experience. I'm Monique, the work from home mogul, and I make videos about working from home, owning a business, reselling tips, all the apps you can make money with, and today's special guest is Cat Lydia. So I will tell you the difference between Rover and Wag and how you can get started making money from looking after pets in your spare time. If you like pets and you like making extra money in your spare time, then these pet walking, pet sitting apps are a great way and probably one of the easiest ways to make money from an app. It is so easy to get started. And if you are already not doing anything and like animals, or you want to just get some exercise during the day and walk them around, split up your day, or if you even want to just see interesting apartments and buildings when you do a visit, or even stay overnight and get access to different amenities if you're in a high-rise building city like I am, it's really a great way to make money not doing that much if you're in their home or they're in your home and you're still able to work on your other business. I would highly recommend it. But here are some differences about what I found out. Wag versus Rover. Getting started with Wag was pretty easy. It cost $25, which included a background check. I think I also got a shirt and a little dog collar at that time, which didn't cost more, but may cost more now. I don't know, that was a few years back. There were some training videos to watch, and they have a lot of videos on YouTube. If you're new to walking dogs, you never really walked them before, it is important to look at these videos so you know what the different leashes and harnesses are. Otherwise, you could be spending 5, 10, 15 minutes of your 30-minute walk trying to figure out how to actually secure it so the dog doesn't go running wild when you get out the door. Rover is $35, a little bit more entry fee, and you may think, I'm trying to make money from this. Doesn't make sense for me to be spending money. Well, yeah, when I signed up for Rover, I didn't know if I would be getting things right away, which I didn't. It took a few weeks. I would suggest if you have a neighbor that has a cat or dog, ask if you could get the entry fee for watching them. Upon getting accepted to Wag and Rover, you set up your profile. So you're gonna talk about just introducing yourself, maybe add a photo of yourself, obviously, but if you have photos of other dogs or with other dogs or pets, that would be great. Kind of setting your parameters of the area, how far you're willing to travel. You can also set your rates. In Wag, you go between a certain minimum and maximum that they set. And if you go above it, there'll be a red flashing alert like, are you sure? Because when people request walks, they request a certain range and you'll be out of it. So honestly, it just doesn't make sense to go above what they set. Setting up Rover was really easy for me because I basically just screenshotted everything that I used from Wag, including my picture, which had like a 5-star emoji thing in it, which honestly you could just create in Canva. But I think that really helps me since I didn't have any experience on Rover. There was no reviews. But you can get an outside review. You can email it and have somebody just fill it out so that you have at least one off-app review. And on Rover, you set your own rates. I was kind of going from Wag, but maybe a little bit on the higher end since Wag takes 40% of your earnings for them and Rover just takes 20. So that's a big difference if you're talking about someone who's paying $40 for a walk and they're either gonna take out 16 or they're gonna take out 8. So if you are starting Rover for the first time and you've never walked anyone before, I would just kind of look it up online of what your rate should be. You can always change them later. You don't want them too low, and obviously you don't want them too high. Getting booked. WAG is really simple. It's a broadcast that goes out to everyone, and basically when you respond first, you're pretty much getting it. Rover is a lot different because the owners will put out requests individually for people and talk with you back and forth, ask you to change your rates, ask when you're available. So the benefit of this is if you need flexibility on the time, you're able to do that more in Rover. And then the downside is they may ask for a discount if it's long term. Oh, if you do more days, can we charge less? Am I doing less of a service? When you respond promptly on WAG, your chances of getting that walk are almost instant. On Rover, your chances of getting booked when you respond, you still have to respond right away because they may be talking with a bunch of different people, and whoever responds to them, they'll book them. Or it'll just go unrequested for like ever. And you can't even delete requests. You can either modify the request, modifying the time or locking in a rate, or you can book it. There's no way for you to actually decline it. So everything just sits in pending forever. Now, when you're doing a walk on WAG, it's really creepy because they are tracking your location like step by step on a map that the owner can see in real time. On Rover, they are looking at your general vicinity. There's still a start button that says how much time that you're using, but if you end it a minute or two early, it's not a huge deal like it is on WAG where there's all these red flags. Are you sure you want to end the walk? I really like how they don't track you, and it's a little bit more lenient as far as the time you start. They don't send you tons of notifications like you're late, where are you at? Tell them that you're coming. That WAG does. On WAG, the entry information, like how to get in the house, how to get the apartment, is very specific. It only shows up after you say on my way and arrived at the location. Whereas on Rover, it's really up to the owner to tell you how do you get into this place, or you actually have to ask them. But there is more of a way to communicate. You can call. You can even, in the messages, exchange phone numbers. You can meet ahead of time, which sometimes you don't want to spend your time meeting with these people. You just want to know if you're booked or not. So yes, with WAG, it's more instant. It's more obvious. It's like they're tracking you. You know exactly where you are, how to get in, and how it ends. On Rover, it's more flexible. It's a little bit more like, how am I getting in? It's more back and forth, maybe a little more time consuming to do all these conversations and to meet beforehand or FaceTime beforehand. Obviously, they're taking out less fees, so you make more money. In my opinion, the best part about Rover versus WAG is there has been way more pet sitting and way more cat sitting. On WAG, people aren't really requesting sittings that much, probably because it's so expensive. They have too many fees, honestly. Cat owners, I think they just gravitate towards Rover. There's more cats on there. There's more cat sitting opportunities. And just visiting a cat, feeding them, changing the kitty litter, takes barely any time. Or just staying with the cat because the cat gets lonely and can like scratch up the whole apartment. You're basically just having a staycation in somebody else's house. If you love cats or if you love dogs and you can see the breed, the size, and pick the cutest ones, then you can be able to do your own business while making this extra money from sitting and or boarding, which is having the pet in your own home. I have yet to welcome any pets into my own home. I've had requests for a month-long cat sitting is totally fine. Like, they barely even do anything. They sleep 22 hours a day. However, the conversations I've had have been very back and forth about, well, if you can do a long term, can you charge less money? And I am just like, this is not an Airbnb. It's not like, oh, if it's booked longer, it's passive income. Every day you have a living being that you're responsible for to not die, to feed every day, make sure that they don't relieve themselves all over your apartment. And you can't just pick up for a weekend and go on vacation if you are supposed to be there every day to take care of this pet. Possible more updates on that later if you're so inclined to hear about it. So my final conclusion, you make way more money with Rover, although there could be less requests and more time going back and forth to try to actually get booked. But the longer stays, the longer visits, people going out of town, pet sitting for them, or just checking in is definitely more money. So there has been more long-term potential with Rover. Now let's hear from our special guest, Cat Lydia. Everything that you're saying to me sounds good. It sounds like they're very inclusive of the feline species. I like Rover since I definitely like cats. I like how this app is hands off. It's not very controlling. It lets you be independent. It's a little bit vague and mysterious and leaves you to not know what's going on. So I can totally relate. Wag is really good for if you want to get out there and get a lot of exercise and get booked quickly. Don't even mention that other company to me. They're very offensive. It's more of like a day-to-day thing, Wag, I think. If you claim to have feline friends, then you should be supportive of the inclusive companies of feline friends and not those that are against them. I definitely stand behind Rover and how it gives the opportunity to be with cute furry little cats and get paid for it. Thanks, Cat Lydia. Thanks, Work From Home Buddies, for watching this week's video. If you'd like to know more, comment below and make sure that you're subscribed and you have that notification bell hit for next week's video. Bye. I would highly recommend it.